Welcome, UC Bearcats, to UC Bearcats on the Prowl, part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network. As always, James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster. Mark, what have the Bearcats been up to?
Well, it's been a couple weeks since we talked, and, we were looking at that little stretch of games where UC had to play SMU and then at Houston and then Wichita State here. And they lost two of them. They lost the game at Houston, and they lost the Wichita State game here. It's hard for me to say that those were surprising losses. Houston plays well at home, and good Lord, they're playing in basically a high school gym right now. It's just like UC is playing somewhere off campus. They're doing the same. So, and, they're a good team. UC lost to them by 5 points. And it was funny because before the game started, I was talking to my son. As I said, do you think the Bearcats will win tonight? I said, you know what? I honestly don't. I think they're going to lose this one. It was just a gut feeling going in. So they lost that game. Then they lost the game to Wichita State. And so you get the two losses in a row, but they were able to bounce back. They took UConn down by 25 points and then scored a pretty tough fought 8-point win over Tulsa just this past Sunday. That was we've talked about Tulsa a little bit in the past on here. They had a 6-game win streak going into that game, and man, did they shoot lights out. Fortunately, UC did the same. Excuse me. They were able to hit a record 15 3-pointers, I believe it was, in the game. And I was watching the game and following on Twitter, and Tom Gresham, the writer for the Enquirer, said that he had a feeling that we were going to find out whether or not UC could beat a good team when having to outscore them. And they did. So it's we learned a lot about the team over those 4 games.
What are you talking about? The sky is falling. The sky is falling, Henny Penny. I mean, they are now only 50% winning percentage for the last 4 games. That's outrageous.
Right.
That's twice now. They've lost 2 games in a row. And offense, they don't have any offensive players. They all play on the defense. What are you talking about? Because football or basketball is just like women's basketball in, was it Iowa or Idaho or whatever damn state it is, somewhere in Indiana, where they play only offense and only defense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, wait. No, that's not true at all. But, yeah, it is amazing, how people do overreact to that stuff. Like you said, the Houston game, I mean, Houston is a really good team, and they should definitely be in the tournament. They're solid. Yep. Wichita State, no-brainer, is going to be in the tournament. I mean, they have been one of those programs consistent, just like UC over the last, 10 years, that have been making the tournament almost every year, if not every year. I know UC has. Of course, then you go to UConn and win, which UConn's not, UConn comes to BB&T Arena, and you win. But they're not, normal UConn, but they're still solid. No, they're not. They suck. I was looking at the score again. I'm like, 77-52. Never mind. But you're right. Tulsa has had a good stretch this year. Same thing. They have an argument maybe to get in. So, definitely depending on how they do in the AAC tournament.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously if UC, wins the AAC tournament, they could still make it 2, 3, 4, somewhere in that area. Probably if they win it all, high 3, low 2. If they lose it, low 3, high 4 kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, even after everything is said and done, after the tumultuous little week they had, they're still checking in at a 3 on bracketology. And the one I go to is Jerry Palm, because he pretty much nails it. But, yeah, they're still checking in at a 3. What more can you ask? This
you
is
can't really ask for much more,
Right. Preseason, they were top 25. Were they top 20? No. And now they're still in the top 10. It's almost like their season and Wichita's season kind of flipped, because Wichita was preseason top 10. And now they're kind of checking back in. So it's just, you're right, the panic factor for Cincinnati fans is just incredible.
Well, I mean, with the type of recruiting classes, with it being ranked so – oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, they never have high recruiting classes, but yet he always wins consistently. Yet they are always, dominant in their conference, and they're always making it to the tournament. A lot of people then go, well, they're the Bengals because they always lose in the playoffs. Okay, 67 of the teams, or I forget how many are in their total. They all lose except for one. And then the only other people, or the Final Four people, they're happy because they're on the shirt. But some of them are even still ticked. Just depends on the level of the program and what the expectations are. So, UC really has had, like you said, has had a great year. They got 4 losses. All 4 of those teams that they lost to are going to be in the Big Dance. There's no question about that. Florida and Wichita, Houston. And I think the 4th off the top of my head. Oh, Xavier. How do I forget Xavier?
That team across town.
Yeah, how did I just forget Xavier? Because you were right. We hadn't been on the air for a little bit, and of course that weekend was just insane basketball. Unfortunately, once again, that's when the depression of Cincinnati comes out and goes, well, that's how Cincinnati does it. Xavier loses in a big game. UC loses in the big game. Heck, NKU lost in the big game that weekend too. So it was a nice little hat trick of Charlie Brown get the football pulled out from it.
Yeah, exactly. It's calmed down as fans. You're right. One team wins it all, and UC, all we can ask is that they get to the dance and they have a chance to win it all. And this is a good team. And I would be remiss if we didn't mention the seniors on the team, because it was senior day on Sunday with the walk-on, and his name is escaping me, and I feel so bad about that. Then Kyle Washington and Gary Clark. It's a good day to honor those 3 and get a nice win out of it all.
Exactly. And one of the other things recently, I forget if it was the Wichita game or it was one of the other games. I think it was Wichita, was Mick was talking about how we don't have any draft picks in the locker room. Or which I thought was interesting because both those guys, now I have looked on some of the draft boards and stuff, and surprisingly I didn't see them there, which baffles me because I would have thought both of them would at least been late first, early second round picks. Gary Clark has done a lot of great things, and he's one of those players that plays the game the right way, especially in the NBA, where he's not trying to take over the game. He's trying to get his teammates involved, actually in college to a fault. And then Kyle Washington just is a solid all-around player. He could be better on defense, Kyle could, but he's got that little weird hook thing, and he runs, like he's got a broken leg. But other than those things,
quite honestly, if you look at the UC team and you're looking for prototypical draft picks, really the only one there is Jacob Evans if he leaves early. Gary Clark, I think, will be a very serviceable pro. I don't know that he's going to be a draft pick. He may have to catch on with somebody and spend some time in the G League, but he's going to do well.
I would just like to add, Gatorade thanks you, because you got it right. Because I ain't gonna lie, I still sometimes mess up and call it the D League too.
I had to think.
Yeah,
I had to take a second and think about it.
That's one of those things that are on my to-do list that I keep forgetting is to give the Lakewood Magic a call and try to get Troy Copain on, because I would like to follow up with him and see how his first year in the pros is doing, because, he did a lot of big things for UC.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be real good to talk to him and see how he's doing. So, and catch up and just see how things are there.
Exactly. And then to get his perspective, because he went one-on-one with Jacob Evans and Justin Jennifer and King Broom. Even though King wasn't eligible to play last year, he was still at all the practices and helped them and pushed them, to the next level. So it'd be interesting to get, like you said, get his insight on those kind of things and to get the insight on the G League, for the guys that, like you said, Kyle or Gary Clark might end up in that league.
Right. And you mentioned Kane Broom. I would be I think it'd be a disservice to not mention how well he played on Sunday. against Tulsa, he and Gary Clark were the two difference makers in that game. He came in and took over, and my hope going into the tournament is that is the Kane Broom we're going to see during tournament time, because he could cause a lot of matchup problems for a lot of teams.
Yeah, he's got the potential to go off. It's just, unfortunately, like you said, this year we haven't really seen it. But, I mean, based on his, his previous college, where, I mean, he was a dominant scorer, but then trying to blend in with UC, and, there's so many guys, it's hard to, one guy to really take all those shots, but they need to be a dominant player. So on one hand, it's great they have the depth, but on the other hand, if you have so many chiefs, or whatever the expression is, so many captains or cooks, or anyway, you don't have enough of them, or you have too many. So, hopefully we'll figure that out.
Is it a scheme thing? Is it a confidence thing? I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, because I agree with you. I'd like to figure that out, which one of the things it is, because he does have the potential. Same with Gary Clark. He's got the potential to be able to do big things. Not all the other guys might, but they all can contribute and be solid players. So it's nice to see. And then I think it was the Wichita State game. What was crazy was they had I think he's a freshman. He's the guy from overseas.
Yeah.
They had him. And he didn't have a rebound in like 9 minutes.
Yeah, Elio.
He had all kinds of other great stats, but he had no rebound. So that's one of the things, when they're out there, they need to get that production, and they can do big things. It's just, stuff like that happens, or if the shooting's off or different things like that. So it is very concerning.
Right, and we'll get a good measuring stick on Sunday, to see how to see. They have to go to Wichita and play there, and let's see how this team regroups. Mick has the defense has slipped off a little bit, and Mick addressed that after the last game, and kind of an interesting manner. But it'll be good to see how the defense comes about, and see if this team can bounce back a little bit and look a little better against Wichita.
Definitely, yeah. Because one thing, Nick is not as shy, so I think he will address that and take care of it, and it should be a good one there. Because, that was the problem with the Wichita State game when they played at UC. It was the defense, and it was the fact that Wichita State just got out early. And every time UC would get back into the game, Wichita State something would happen. They'd go on a run. They'd spark themselves back to taking the lead and separating themselves. Because there were several times where they go, okay, we're now within 4, we're now within 6, we're now within 2. We got this. We're going to, and then it would just fall apart. Yeah.
And Wichita's a senior-laden team. I think their entire starting 5 is seniors. So they're a good, composed team. So let's see, let's see how UC comes back against them and use it as a measuring stick going into the tournament.
I agree with you. I mean, that's going to be huge. And then, of course, that sparks the AAC tournament down in Orlando, and that'll be interesting to see once they finalize those brackets. Because even though we're not a Northern show, we're going to give them a shout-out because they did finalize their brackets, and they are the number 1 seed in their conference. So, good for them. And we're hopefully UC, they should still be eligible or up there in the next standings. So it'll be interesting to see. It probably depends on the Wichita State game if they get the first seed or not.
Right, because with the 2 losses, they still have a game up on Wichita and I believe Houston. I think they both have 2 losses or 3 losses. I mean, so I don't have the standings right in front of me. I clicked on an article. Let me see. Wichita has 3 losses in conference, and Houston has 4. UC has 2. So, escape from Wichita with a win, beat Tulane, they'll be the number 1 seed.
Exactly. So worst case scenario, if they lost to Wichita State, that would put them down to the number 2. they would have to lose both games to go down to the number 3.
Right. And I don't necessarily see that happening with Tulane. But, stranger things have happened. It would be good to get the number 1 seed just because you probably then don't have to go through Houston again. But then there's always Tulsa kind of hanging around there too. Exactly. So, because I think Tulsa it has 6 losses. And then interestingly enough, the team in 5th place in the conference is Memphis.
Huh.
It just shocks me because but SMU is 6-10 in the conference. That team has slipped off big time with Shake Milton down. If the AAC is going to get 4 teams into the tournament, it's got to be Tulsa in that last slot.
Very true. Yeah, and even then, what's their overall record?
Tulsa is what are they? They're 17-11. But and I think I want to look it up, but I believe I saw that they had wins over Auburn and Alabama. Is that right? Let's see.
That. Yeah, I was going to say that's the only way they're going to get in, other than winning the tournament, their conference tournament, is if they had some type of resume thing like that. Yeah, because if you have Auburn, as good as they've been this year in Alabama, yeah, you might have a shot then. So you should have a shot then because both those teams are solid, or better than solid.
Now, you know who it is who has the wins over that team? Those teams is Temple.
Dang.
Temple's got 2 signature wins, but they're 8-8 and 16-12. So 16-12. That could be close. Let me just double check that and see.
Yeah, that just don't get you in.
Okay, so it's Auburn. It's Auburn and Clemson that they beat.
Temple did?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're 16-12. Tulsa's 17-11. So it presents an interesting conversation there because Tulsa is killing Temple as far as in the conference because Temple's 8-8 in the AAC, but overall they're 16-12 with a win over the number 10 team in the country, or number 11 maybe, or higher, Auburn.
Yeah, top team in the country. So that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the AAC does have a shot at getting 4 teams in. Cause, just off the I was going to guess maybe 3. I was going to say UC and Wichita State and Houston. And if someone shocked and won the tournament, maybe then a 4th. But I would have been surprised. But with those resumes, they might have an argument. If not, they'll be a highly rated NIT team, and maybe they're probably hosting for some of their home games or for the first couple of rounds for that.
I'm trying to see here. I'm looking at the bracketology, and I'm trying to see how many they have getting in from the AAC. I see Houston. I see. Let's see. Well, obviously Wichita will be in there. Just gotta find them. Yeah, I see Wichita with a 4 seed. Other than that, I only see 3 teams getting in.
Yeah, so unless one of those teams, ends up winning the tournament, it probably will be 3. But you never know, and like you said, you can make a good argument for them. It's just, it seems to be that to get in, you got to have that 20 wins, to really kind of lock in a non-conference winning spot. Sounds good. Any other exciting news going on with UC?
Actually, UC did kind of land a big recruit over the last couple of days. I think it might have been, was it Monday night that he announced, or it might have been Sunday that he announced? The kid's name is LaQuil Hartnett. He is out of Baltimore. He's a pretty highly thought of recruit coming out of that area. He's a big kid, 6'8", and he's got good ball skills. So we did land a pretty good recruit.
For basketball or for football?
Yeah, basketball. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay, because the reason why I had to say which one is with the football teams getting a 6'9" and a 6'7" guy earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, normally you would say 6'8" and automatically think basketball, but with those type of guys, I was like, wow, maybe they are going to play, football team versus basketball, and they're trying to stack the odds in their favor. No, but that is
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, getting that 6'8" guy out of Baltimore, and just being able to add to the depth of the team. And obviously, I'm guessing he's a strong defensive player. So there's a lot of good there. Well, for the Grueling Truth Radio Network, James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster for UC Bearcats and the Prowl signing off.